You should now, having listened to the videos, having written some stuff about various problems in philosophy, have a much better idea of what philosophy is and what it is that philosophers do. In particular, you should know something about the central problems of philosophy. And as we said, there were three areas, the first being value, and the branches of philosophy within the study of value: ethics, political philosophy, and aesthetics. The next general category of questions falls into the area of reality, has to do with reality, and they're studied in the branch of philosophy known as metaphysics, and including there are questions of cosmology, ontology, including the mind-body problem, freedom, and determinism. Then there are also questions of knowledge, questions in the area of epistemology, and one of the large questions that philosophers are worried about is, do we ever know anything? And then the question is, how do we come to an answer? How do we decide which answer is right? And that's where we look to the tool that philosophers have invented and brought to the table, and that is logic. That is, they're going to give reasons, and we're going to use logic to evaluate that. So we see that there are really three general areas where all problems of philosophy fall. There's kind of sort of a fourth area, really branch of philosophy, namely logic, the thing that helps us evaluate reasons. And just to give you a general idea, there are also a lot of other questions that fall in, that span value, reality, knowledge, sometimes also logic, that are studied together. An example of this is something that we call philosophy of religion. Answers questions like, does God exist? How do you know that God exists? Is or does God make things be right or wrong? Notice questions in philosophy of religion span, does God exist? Reality. How do we know that God exists? Question of knowledge. Value. That is, in order to have objective right and wrong, do we need to have a God who created them? And similarly in philosophy, there are a lot of branches that will talk. There are a lot of studies in philosophy that call philosophy of, and kind of with a blank, fill in the blank, philosophy of science. What does science show? What is the methodology? Philosophy of language, philosophy of mathematics, philosophy of law. Asking very general questions. That is, not actually doing science, not doing linguistics, not doing an empirical study of the mind, not doing mathematics, but these are questions about mathematics and about language, about science, about religion, that span the areas of value, reality, and knowledge. I think now you should have a very different perspective on what philosophy is about, and you should at least be getting some idea of what you'll be studying during the course of the semester. Now I'd like you to kind of finish up this module by actually writing down now, or going back to what you've originally written, and now modify it and say, now, having listened to this series of videos, how would you define philosophy now? And right now, what is it that you expect to see in the course? And actually, I'll put up a separate discussion. Let's keep this separate from your initial comments.